Over the course of about the last 2.5 weeks, Bitcoin has went from around $35,000 to now trading at $45,000, giving it about a 28% rise in that time. And with that recent rally in price, people are wondering, are we back on a bull run or are we still sitting in a bear market? In this video, we'll discuss my thoughts and where I think Bitcoin price is going in the next couple of months here. And as well as that, I'll also show you my cryptocurrency portfolio because I haven't done an update on that in quite a while. So I'll just give you guys a look into what my portfolio currently looks like. So if that sounds like a good idea, if you guys could take 1 second to go ahead and drop a like on this video, only takes a second and it really does help out the channel. As well as that, we're really closing in on 5,000 subscribers, so if this is your first time watching me, or maybe you've seen me before but you just haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and helping us get that 5,000 subscriber mark. So in terms of news around Bitcoin, we had a couple of stories over this last number of weeks here. The biggest one probably being Russia declaring that they will treat Bitcoin as a currency, which is good news for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. Overall, it's good news to see some countries now treating it as a currency instead of countries like China banning it. There was also news regarding a cryptocurrency exchange called Bitfinex, which in 2016 was hacked and 120,000 Bitcoin were stolen. The value of that Bitcoin is now $3.6 billion, so an absolutely astronomical amount. And the people who hacked and held this Bitcoin were just recently found, so as of now the US government is in charge of that 3.6 billion Bitcoin. And as this tweet says, that is very bullish from the US government. Of course that's a joke. I don't know what the story is with the 3.6 billion Bitcoin. I'm not sure, does that go back to Bitfinex or what really happens with it, but we'll stay tuned and see what happens on that story. Didn't really have a positive or negative catalyst on the Bitcoin price, but just something interesting in the space. One chart I want to take a look at here is from Plan B, essentially just showing the price of Bitcoin after each of the halvenings. You can see the bright green line there is essentially at $100,000, and that's where the stock to flow model was predicting and what I referenced in previous videos I've done on Bitcoin. Of course it didn't hit that. The highest we've seen was about $69,000, but didn't get near the $100,000 in the last number of months here. But just one thing that I noticed here, and it could be a complete coincidence, it's obviously not enough to assume that it's going to happen, but the difference between the peaks on each of these halvings here was about 5 months between each peak. So I'll draw 3 lines here and we can see what I'm talking about. So based off that, in the next 1 or 2 months we could potentially see a new peak above 69,000. But it's definitely more hopium, as they call it, than facts by any means, but just something interesting there, and if it comes true, we'll be coming back to this video for sure. Another interesting chart here, and feel free to pause the video if you want to take a more in-depth look at it, but essentially what it's showing is that the retail investor, the short-term holder of Bitcoin, has pretty much got wrecked over the last number of weeks and months here, and it's pretty much just long-term holders left. So this would be a bullish chart indicating that we haven't reached a blow off top yet, and Bitcoin has potentially a lot higher to go in the next couple of months here. And my overall thoughts are that I do think Bitcoin will see a new high this year in 2022. I know some people may disagree, but that's just my opinions, and nobody is really as right as the other person. We can both say different things. At the end of the day, one of the two things will happen, so one of us will look right. And there's definitely a good bit of hope and optimism built into my prediction here, of course, but I do think that we may potentially see a 100,000 Bitcoin this year. But yeah, let's just see what happens on that front. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at my portfolio and we'll see some of the moves that I have been making. Okay, so I've just pulled up the FTX app, which is essentially just an app that I can use to track all of my portfolio, seeing as I have it on a number of different exchanges. So we can see here that it's currently sitting at $13,054. Just over the last number of weeks here, this was as low as $9,000, in around that range, so it's good to see it's recovered quite a bit. One move I did make when things started to take a little bit of a turn for the worse is that I consolidated my positions down and kind of put more of a weighting in Bitcoin. So you can see that Bitcoin and Ethereum make up about maybe 40% each of my portfolio. And then I hold 3 other projects, being DFI, Engine Coin, and then XRP as well. And the reason that I consolidated my Bitcoin was because when it reached around $35,000, I thought that was a good opportunity, that it had a nice bit of upside there, and some other projects just may not do as well, especially when you're heading towards a sort of bear market or in a bear market period of a cycle. So I just decided to double down on my Bitcoin position because I think that's one of the safest options when it comes to cryptocurrency. Obviously cryptocurrency as a whole is very volatile, but just, I mean, if you're sticking with Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's probably one of the more safer options to go with in cryptocurrency. And yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing. I'm continuing to add to Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly, and maybe a small bit more in Engine Coin, which I've done a previous video about. I'll link up here. With the XRP position, I used to have this as a bit bigger, but now I'm just leaving it as a small little bet here. Don't plan to add any more to it, but just in case one of these crazy predictions does come through that a lot of people have for XRP, at least I'll have a small stake in it. But yeah, definitely most bullish and most confident in putting more money into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I like my position in DeFi right now. Currently won't be adding, I'm currently staking that, so it will continue to build that position, but I won't be adding any more money into it as of right now. If you're wondering where I stake my DFI, it's called Cake DeFi. I've done a video on that. Again, I'll link it up there. I think I'm getting around a 60% APR at the minute, which is great. And I definitely think that's a project that will do very well over the next while. Don't plan to sell that for a couple of years. Happy to just leave it sit there and go to work. But yeah, that's basically a look at my cryptocurrency portfolio, some of the news on Bitcoin and kind of my thoughts on where we are at the minute. I think we will see a good number of months here with Bitcoin, but definitely be prepared for some more volatility, as is always expected with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Anyway guys, hope this video has helped a small bit. Please let me know in the comment section below any cryptocurrencies you guys are currently buying, or what are you doing when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. And as always, if you did enjoy it, if you could take a second to drop a like on it, and please subscribe to the channel if you're new here as well. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in another video.